Back on Sports Bet Betting Insight today, Green Bay Packers in a second. Teddy going to Costa Rica. Teddy, what's going on in Costa Rica early August?
Hell yeah, I'm going to Costa Rica. I just got back, and I want to go back. You can join me. Join Clay Travis from Fox Sports, Gil Alexander from the VSiN Network, Matthew Holt from CG Technology / Canner Gaming, a whole host of other big names in the sports betting world. We're talking about the inaugural International Football Betting Conference. That is Friday and Saturday, August 4th and 5th in San Jose, Costa Rica. Visit www.ifbc.live. Again, International Football Betting Conference. That's the IFBC. Sign up for your free invite today. Free. Again, www.ifbc.live. Check it out right now.
Here we go. Green Bay Packers win total 10.5, under $1.25. Last year, 10-6 straight up, 9-6-1 ATS, 10-6 to the over, 17 giveaways, which was 8th, 25 takeaways, plus 8 margin was 6th in the league. Offense, 5.8 yards per play, above average, 4.5 yards per rush, above average, 7.2 yards per pass, and 35 sacks allowed average. Hard to believe that this team started 4-6 with Aaron Rodgers, but they finished strong. Something to consider here, and it's always big, especially if you're looking at the win total going over. The quarterback does not like the head coach, and they don't get along, and that's cause for concern, Teddy.
We know there was a fair bit of disconnect, McCarthy-Rodgers last year, where more than a little disconnect between the two, but it appeared as if things were worked out. We haven't heard any rumblings in the offseason, and we're talking about one of the, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. All apologies to Tom Brady, all apologies to anyone, but I mean, that offense, with all the issues they had last year, offensive line questions. They were using converted wide receivers. They're starting running back. They had, injuries at wide receiver. With all of that, they're finishing in the top quartile in yards per play. The running game was there, and Rodgers was once again brilliant. As you mentioned, 8th in the NFL with only 8 takeaways. But the bigger concerns last year, and much of what got them off to that 4-6 start last year, the defense wasn't very good, Pauly, and that's where they spent a good portion of the offseason working on.
Yeah, offense stunk at the start of the season, too. 6 yards per play allowed, tied for dead last with Indy and New Orleans. 40 sacks, tied for 6th. Opposing QB rating, 97.2 and 4.1 yards per rush allowed. They drafted King, the cornerback, out of Washington. Also, the Jones, the safety, out of NC State. I like Williams, the running back from BYU as well. And another weapon for Rodgers. Cook goes to Oakland, and they get Bennett to play tight end from Green Bay as well.
Yeah, and that's a big pickup. Martellus Bennett, a guy who has a real immediate impact potential. But let's go back to the draft for a minute. You talk about King and Jones. The King might have been the best combination. I love this guy at quarterback. He was a difference maker for the Huskies, and he's big. He's 6'3". He's got a potential to be a legitimate shutdown corner pretty early in his NFL career. And I love Josh Jones, the safety, as well. So you talk about those two in the draft, plus the addition of they got somebody else to do. They had a big free agent pick. They cut Shields. They let Micah Hyde go. And then they re-signed their former cornerback, Devin House, who was in Jacksonville. So when you're talking about three young guys in the secondary, there's talent there that they didn't have a year ago at cornerback and safety. I think that will certainly help a defense that, as you mentioned, they gave up 6 yards per play last year. That was tied for the last in the NFL. You don't win Super Bowls doing that.
Yeah, well, Packer fans all over Ted Thompson too, and they should be. They haven't made a big move in a long time. O-line, average, not above average, not elite. What do you think of the strength of schedule?
Yeah, let me go to the O-line for a minute because they have two of the better pass protecting tackles in the NFL. They really do, and Bakhtiari and Balaga. But the interior of that line is loaded with question marks. They're hoping that Kyle Murphy or Jason Spriggs can be difference makers this year. And if one of those guys can make the switch effectively to guard, it will help them a long way. But at least they've got the tackles to protect Aaron Rodgers. From a scheduling standpoint this season, Green Bay is not in bad shape. Their schedule is weaker than last year. Last year's was slightly tougher than an average schedule. This year they're right at 500 in terms of where their opponents are priced for this year's, based on this year's season win totals. They get a bunch of early home games. They do have a fairly tough slate early. They have Seattle, at Atlanta. They got at Dallas, New Orleans, Minnesota, all before the break. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start off mediocre. But the back half of that schedule, there's not an opponent that they can't be. The one game at Pittsburgh in Week 12 is the one that stands out. And even with at Carolina, Week 15, the division games aren't brutal for Green Bay. Not in a division where all the other teams are lined at 500 or less. I mean, Green Bay's lined right where they should be. They're a 10.5 win team. FBO has them at 10-6. They finished 10-6 last year. If I had to bet the Packers, I'd probably bet them as a 10-win team, not as an 11-win team. But I wouldn't be surprised that it's not anything that I'm going to get to the betting window with when I have when I think I got a half a game's worth of edge. That's not enough.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.